great candidates that way.
But you're right. It's all about, the upside is all about marketing. And if we're talking about business, the upside is all about marketing and developing clients and advancing the career. The downside is about costs and risks. So I think for that reason, the last thing you should do is Twitter. Because there are many other things that CPAs and CPA firms should be doing first. First, like Francine said, you should have a communications and marketing policy. First, you should have a website, a static website. Then you should have collateral. Then you should have networking functions. Social media is just one component. It's just one channel. There's billboards, there's TV, there's radio, there's still print somewhere. I mean, it's just a channel. It's just another medium. It's just one of many elements in a unified, integrated communications and marketing strategy. And some of these things that can be highly individualistic can carry with them great risks for organizations. And here we have the clash between the individual and the organization. So organizations have to tread much more carefully than individuals. And sometimes organizations, and I think what's happening with social media, what's happening is that organizations are learning from the individual. And social media is becoming a great democratizer. And that's very difficult for organizational culture.
We're getting short on time. Any other questions?
Yes. I just had one question. A lot of the group here showed that they have a presence on Facebook or LinkedIn, but haven't moved to Twitter. So can you define kind of what Twitter offers over and above the benefits of having exposure on LinkedIn and Facebook?
As a blogger who is not that enamored with Facebook, I'll say that Twitter, I look at it as a distribution tool, as a content distribution tool. Facebook seems to me to be another place where it's a presence. And a blog is a presence, a website is a presence. But when you start talking about, again, relationship and then going beyond relationship, actually having a conversation, I found that Twitter is an amazing tool for me to get other people interested in what I'm doing who may not normally look at an accounting blog or be reading that every day. So first, just redistributing the content on the blog when I make a new blog post. Two, telling people what I'm reading, telling people what where I'm going and what I'm doing. Talking to them about other people that I've met that are interesting in what they're reading and what they're writing and what they're doing. And so it's more of a dynamic conversational mode where very quickly and very easily and very amazingly and democratically you can get to talk to people that you would otherwise never have a chance to run into in any other way. I got my first major media quote in the Financial Times via Twitter. Somebody saw me, one of the journalists there saw me talking and had a need and a use for some subject matter expertise. And so after working for 2 years and writing and pitching in the traditional sense via email and via contacts, people to try to pay attention to what I was writing, somebody saw me in a passive manner. I didn't even know they were there. Writing about the things that I write about. Whether anybody reads or not, I keep writing about the same things. And she found it, and she asked me, and I was quoted in the Financial Times. And then I've done since guest columns, etc. And so it's to me a much different tool that is really conversation and connection and taking those relationships to the next level, which obviously in the case of most normal people is eventually you have to meet in person. And that's one of the reasons why I go out a lot now, is because I'm meeting so many people that I have an enormous curiosity to meet them in person. And they have the good curiosity to meet me in person too, and actually sit down and talk over a beer rather than just over 140 characters.
I'd like to agree with part of you and disagree with another part. I'll disagree first and say I don't think it's a conversation at all, because that's what I don't like about it. I feel like it's like just the update part of Facebook. That was my initial reaction, and also, but on the other hand, I agree establishing yourself as an expert. One of the greatest success stories I heard was from a QuickBooks specialist who also serves as an outsourced CFO. And what she does is she puts up a QuickBooks tip like every day. Just if it's, I don't use QuickBooks, I'm a journalist, but if it's, hit F9 to do this or whatever it is, and keep in mind it's only 140 characters, she just puts up tips. So she's established herself as a QuickBooks expert. She actually got her largest client without ever talking to them or having to pitch them. They contacted her because she kept putting up these tips and then teasing that to her website. And thousands and thousands of dollars she's getting from this company that she never even had to introduce herself to. So that's great. As far as, I feel like from a conversational standpoint, I feel it's a little too distant, but that's just my own, I don't really like conversing on texting.
Tell me who in our world you don't know that you'd like to meet, okay, and I'll make it happen. Via Twitter. That's my tip.
Okay.
I would just say that one other difference is the fact that there's no accepting a friend request on Twitter. The one really neat thing about Twitter is that people find the information that they're after, the information producers that they're after, and they choose to follow them. So if you build up, at the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, we have about 1,800 people who have chosen to follow what we put out, 140 characters at a time. So rather than shooting a blast email or something like that, the people you're talking to have opted in to hear what you have to say.
To answer the question, there are multiple levels of intimacy before you close a sale. And one of the things about it all depends on how you use it, actually. One of the things about Twitter is that it's very good for, it can be good for generating leads, but you still have to incorporate this into your CRM system and into your lead generation strategy, so that you understand whether somebody's coming in as a lead, whether they're qualified, whether it's from Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. The nice thing about, the functional thing about Twitter in this regard is that it broadcasts out and it's searchable. Then if you move the conversation to a phone call, that's golden. And there are different ways to do that with Facebook and LinkedIn, but it's all about integrating it and finding out, start by finding out where your customers are. Find out where your prospects are hanging out. Do some searches, get connected. And that'll tell you where to bring your strategy. If we're talking about marketing, we're talking about going where the prospects are.
One final note, I would say that the MACPA's relationship with each and every one of these people up here is based strongly on the connections that we've made on Twitter. They might not be here today had it not been for the fact that you were able to connect with them in these social areas. So that's pretty powerful. Folks, I wish we could continue this conversation. We are out of time.
We can. Can I just make an offer?
Yes.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm in Chicago, other than Chicago, but I'm staying overnight. If there's anybody in the room that wants a Twitter demonstration, wants to see a Twitter power user, I'm glad to stay around and show you. So, again, thanks for
Thank you all. And if you want to continue this conversation, follow us up here, and we'd be more than happy to do that. So thank you all for coming.